Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond the Second Cognition. I'm Beall. The topic of this discussion is the true story about karma. Now, a lot of you have been on your path for a long time, and with all this spiritual stuff, the importation of Eastern spirituality into Western theosophical New Age doctrines, we hear all this crap about karma. We feel that there's some kind of give and take, karma's going to get you if you don't watch out. That's not how it works. Even in Conversations with God, Book 1, written by Neil Donald Walsh, the Soika entity that transmitted that book that Walsh falsely misinterpreted to be God, said there's no such thing as karma as you understand it. So I'm going to do my best at this point to explode the karmic mythology that is all around this planet based on Eastern religious ideologies, formulated primarily by the hive. Prior to about 30,000 years ago, give or take a few centuries, humans on this planet were nothing but walking body-minds with a hive infection. Soika crew at that time, once humanity had upgraded to a level enough that it could handle higher level Soika consciousness, started inserting particles called souls. Now, these souls were not fully developed sentiences. So when we did this, we decided we were going to create a program that as these souls passed away and reprocessed and came back in as humans, that each life would create a sort of cumulative knowing to where they could grow from like Soika baby sentience into full-grown Soika sentience. Well, as with all things within this tyrannical universe, and I can't tell you exactly which group was the source that corrupted this program, but it got tampered with. And what happened is that these souls would keep coming back into human form, and when they died, all of the good stuff was stripped away, and they were only allowed to carry the negative shit from one life into the next, so they never developed. But it created a hell of a food supply for the virus. So this cycle continued, and these souls kept reincarnating, and they kept not advancing because somebody else had tampered with our program and corrupted the whole karmic idea. This program has since been resolved. The tampering and abuse is no longer in place. But 30,000 years of projected soul development from Soika sentience was thrown down the shitter when the program was corrupted. Now, the hive cells themselves could not reincarnate because they didn't really have any life as we perceive life. They were just a friggin' virus. The only way a hive cell could reproduce in a human form was to artificially insert itself and either throw out the old hive cell or override it with a former pre-existing human personality. They never reincarnated anyway. The reincarnation process, and I can't give you the reasons for this specifically, I'm still waiting on knowledge to come to me about why it's this way. But when a soul or a Soika incarnates into a human form, there's this forgetfulness program. And I can't say who put it there. I have ideas about why it's there, but I don't have anything definitively that I can tell you why it's there. Hive cells never reincarnated because they were unwilling to give up what they knew. So they were usurpers. They would usurp human consciousness by inserting the hive cell through a form of harmonic resonance with the hive cell that lived in the human form. They had a connection, so to speak. So what they would do is they would just insert themselves and take the place. There was no reincarnational cycle, regardless of what the doctrines spouted. It was another hijacking of Soika crew work, stolen by the fucking hive and given another damn doctrinal spin. Now, because the hive could insert consciousness this way, Programs were established to keep Soika crew from inserting from outside in the same manner. But see, we did them one better. Because we are Soika, we took the chance on the fact that we could come through that forgetfulness cycle as human beings and wake ourselves up when it came time with the correct triggers and the correct information, and transcend the forgetfulness and remember who we are and what we came to do. The Hive and the allies that it worked with never saw this coming. They figured we wouldn't be that daring or that stupid, however you want to translate it. But that's how we came in. We came in through the forgetfulness birth cycle and snuck in through the fucking back door right underneath the Hive's nose, and they never knew it until it was too late. So what they do, let's talk about the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama started back in the, 14th, 15th century, the first Dalai Lama. And where we get fed all this malarkey that the Dalai Lama keeps reincarnating, that's bullshit. It's the same human personality that created the idea of the Dalai Lama that would die and go to the Hive and then reinsert itself into another human child that it could usurp. So it's been the same human personality all along. There's been no genuine reincarnation, and I explain this in the Soika Consciousness book, which we're going to have out in a week or so. I mean, we're down to just doing the repairs and getting the publishing on it. So that story is going to be in there. But there was no reincarnation involved with the Dalai Lama. It was nothing more than a case of Hive usurpation. The Hive personality of the original Dalai Lama coming in and usurping the Hive personality in young children and answering the questions. And this is how it could answer the questions, because it never went through the forgetfulness cycle. It didn't reincarnate, it just reinserted. This is what tyrants do. What's happened with karma that we established and the Hive and its allies fucked up is they use karma as a whip for Eastern religions, like they use Satan as a whip for Western religions with Christianity and Islam and shit like that. So they teach people, if you don't do good in this life, you're going to get devalued in the next life and come back as a lower being, maybe an animal or a fly or something like that. So they use karma as a fear mechanism to drive people into the devotion to their temples. So as usual, with Hive corruption, they took something that was potentially good and turned it into shit, like they always do. But karma, as it's been taught, is malarkey, just like the person that transmitted down the information to Neil Donald Walsh in Conversations with God, Book 1. There is no such thing as karma as you understand it. Well, I have just given you greater understanding, which shows that statement to be totally true. And now you know how it was supposed to work, what they did to it, and why it didn't work. And why Soika crew had to come in through the back door, through the birth process of all this forgetfulness, and run the risk of remembering who we are so we could take these bastards down. And oh, we have taken these bastards down. All that's left is their residual programs and self-indoctrinated beliefs and psychological manipulation, all run on bluff. So this is the real story of karma, ladies and gentlemen. Take it for what it is, and I hope you find benefit in learning about it. For those of you doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on yourselves.